I just one day made a decision that it was going to happen, and I set a launch date for myself because I know myself. And if I don't set a date where other people are expecting something to happen, if it's something that's just for me, I will push it and push it and push it, and it will get put to the bottom of the pile.
So you recently started a podcast and a blog in order to demystify tax law, which is so important with all the complicated terms and all. So for someone who wants to begin with a podcast, how should they go about it? And also, what were the hurdles or obstacles that you faced at the time you were thinking about it, between that transition where you keep thinking and where you actually start doing it? I'm talking about that.
So I had been thinking about doing a podcast for about a year before I actually did a podcast. And I think the pandemic, I was working from home, I was craving connection, and I was having these great conversations with people and nobody else was hearing them. Yeah. And then I was having to relay those conversations to clients and to other advisors. And I thought, this is crazy. Like, why don't I just do this? Why don't I do it? And if it flops, it flops. And so I just one day made a decision that it was going to happen, and I set a launch date for myself because I know myself. And if I don't set a date where other people are expecting something to happen, if it's something that's just for me, I will push it and push it and push it, and it will get put to the bottom of the pile. And this project, the blog and the podcast, this was just for me. That was why I did this. It was to feed my soul. It's turned into something that has become actually a great referral source and source of business, but that was not the intention. And it's still not the intention. It's to get information out there. It's my pet project. And so when I do something, I'm that weird person that goes and learns about it first. And I know not everyone is like that, but I have to take courses on things. And so there was a really great how to start a podcast course that was offered by a company in the US called Being Boss. And it's a company that's run by two women who have a very successful podcast. So they had PowerPoint presentations and all kinds of information about how to name your podcast, what your logo needs to look like, how to structure it, how to do things right from the front end so that you're not looking back 5 years later and going, darn, I wished I had done that. So I took the course, and I also hired a consultant. So there was a consultant in Saskatoon who charged an hourly rate, who edited podcasts for a living. And so I phoned him up and I said, can I have an hour of your time? Here's all the things I don't understand. Can you explain them to me? And he was fabulous. He connected me with podcast hosting sites so I could actually create a website and get things linked to Apple Podcasts. He taught me some tricks of the trade of how to edit in GarageBand, all within an hour. So those were some things that I think I learned. And I think coming out of that, it's just talk to people. Don't be afraid to ask for help or to seek out resources. Don't try to do it on your own because there's so much information out there, and it's not actually that hard to do. It's just weed through the info.
Yeah, I will definitely use that when I begin with my channel because it's similar to what I am trying to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Totally reach out.
Yeah. In your blog, the Tax Chick blog, you have discussed digital assets and the need to talk about devolving them as well. And it really piqued my interest. And I'd love it if you could tell us a little about it.
So I think digital assets are one of the emerging areas of estate planning in Canada and the US. And it's emerging because we're really far behind. So Great Britain, for example, is much farther ahead of us in terms of what they're doing. But what we're finding is that all of these problems are starting to crop up when people die. And we don't have solutions in place for them. And our law is so far behind that there is no law that provides a solution. But there are things that people can do on the front end to make it a little better. Like there is some things that can be done. So when I think of digital assets, most of us have a cell phone. Most of us have social media accounts. Those are great examples of digital assets. And although you can't necessarily control whether a social media account stays open or not after you're dead, and you can't necessarily control who's going to own your iCloud account or those kinds of things, you can leave information behind for your executor and put certain powers in your will to tell your executor where things are and what you want them to do. And so we had started doing what I call a digital asset checklist I do it with all of my clients, where I have them do a bit of a brain dump of all of the digital stuff that they have. And I have a bit of a list for them to get them started. And then I indicate, do you want this account closed? Do you want a memorial page? Where are your passwords kept for this so that the executor can get in and close it? Is there certain photos you want pulled off of the site before it gets closed? Because if the executor knows the passwords and can get in and get access to this stuff, then it doesn't matter if Facebook shuts it down or if LinkedIn shuts it down, because they've already gotten what they needed. What if you have a Shutterfly account and that's where all your photos are? Should probably get a hold of those things, right? What if there's a hard drive with information on it and you don't want some of that information going to this person? Leave instructions. Those are all things that you can control and can do. And it doesn't mean you have to give your passwords to your executors now. You can keep them in a secure place, and there's lots of different programs that allow for that, and sort of create a bit of a rabbit trail for your executors to find the things. And I think it's becoming more and more important, and people aren't talking about it, and they need to talk about it. And a lot of people think they don't have any digital assets because they think of it like Bitcoin or gambling chips, and it's so much bigger than that. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to raise some awareness of it.
And now, it concerns each and every one of us. There's hardly anyone who doesn't use all of it. And it's really, I'd say I was really interested when I read about it, because we never think about it. We do know what Facebook and Instagram do to our accounts once we are not there, but we don't really think about what we need to, or we want to do with them. So yeah, that's good. It's very, I think it's alien here in India at the moment, but I think we'll catch up.
Okay.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Amanda. It was so great. I've learned so much in this half an hour from you. And before we conclude, I want to congratulate you for your wedding. I wish you all the luck, and I wish you all the happiness.
Thank you very much. It was so nice to talk with you as well. If there's anything else I can do, don't hesitate to reach out.
Sure, I will definitely. Thank you so much. It was great.
Thank you. You take care. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.